Hello, hello. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you tuning in as well as your support. And for those of you who've been with me, your continued support means the world to me. I appreciate you so very much. Today, I wanted to talk about the energies because we are shifting higher now. Today is 11/11, so happy 11/11. In the past, we've looked at this date as a very different energy in a very different way. It was aligned more as a marker. It's not a marker anymore, but it has been activated today as more of a gateway. And if you think of the 11s, right? If we look at the 11s by side, they would be representative of pillars. So you could say that we could use the pillars to create a foundation or a structure. So four of those together would be the foundation of a building, right? So building something in creation mode. And then if we look at just the 11 by itself, the two pillars, then we would be able to go in between the two pillars, which is what represents the gateway. So this is a very, very powerful time for transformation. And today marks a shift in our energies on the planet, and a new gateway activating actually started last night. As I was feeling the energies coming through. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. And also that the 11 is a number for manifestation. So we need to really pay attention. But let's talk about 11/11 first and what is taking place here. So the gateway that is activating is bringing us into higher levels of awareness, greater levels of creation, okay, because we're in creator timelines right now. And so the 11/11 gateway is the four pillars, the four ones, creating the opportunity or the energy to build new foundations and new structures within our lives, as how we are navigating our personal reality as well as how we are connecting with others. So it's significant for building within the one, and then building within the foundation of our collectives. So it's really important to have an awareness of that. And this energy is allowing for the distortions of 3D to drop away, the old belief systems, the old paradigms, the programs that we've been running. And it allows us to finally step into this place of empowerment. And I know for those of you who are astrologers and tune in to the stars, you would probably be able to explain that much better than I could. But I could tell you the planetary alignments are such that this is a time for us to take back our power, to empower ourselves, to look beyond what is being handed to us as our truth, as our reality, and see that it is really an illusion that is playing out. And if we tune in with clarity and open our heart and allow ourselves to be willing to see things from a bigger picture, then we will see all of these little moments where it looks like one thing and then it turns out to be something else. So we need to be vigilant in our awareness of all things that are being presented and not allow ourselves to play into what appears to be. That is going to come up in order to help us shift and sort, for us to tune higher, tune into our state of being, our sense of knowing, our higher self, our future self, galactic self, angelic self, whatever you want to call in at this particular point in time, so that we can start to empower ourselves and embrace who we are at the deepest level from the highest perspectives. And that's really what this time is about. So if you have been feeling challenged by things that are, presenting in your reality, something that someone sends you or says or posts, and it doesn't resonate with you, but it strikes a chord within and it creates an opportunity to be triggered, use that opportunity to be triggered to let go of what no longer serves you so that you can move on into your highest timeline. And we're going to notice that as this next couple of weeks play out, we're going to see more and more coming into the light, so to speak. What was hidden in the dark is going to come to the light so that we can see everything that, is presenting itself, and then make our decisions or determine where it fits into our life, if it does or if it doesn't. Okay. And this is all about our own personal empowerment. This has nothing to do with anybody else. One of the things that's very important that keeps coming up over and over for me every time I either do a session with somebody or in my classes is, other people's opinions. And so there's a saying out there that goes, what people think of you is none of your business. And that is true, because that can be very debilitating if we allow ourselves to play into what other people are thinking about us. But from another perspective, if we could look at opinions as other interpretations of how something is supposed to work, how something is supposed to be, then we could see that everybody truly is on their own unique timeline. And my interpretation of something that I feel could benefit somebody might be very different from somebody else's interpretation of that same thing. I have a tendency when I am working with somebody to be more generalized. I wouldn't say very generalized, but more generalized and not specific, unless it's really coming through in that way, that's needed that way, because I recognize that the person that I'm working with also has their own ability to interpret what is best for them. So we have to remember that we're all reading timelines, and we're all doing our best job to interpret those timelines. And there is no one shoe fits everyone. It just couldn't possibly be. So when we look around, we have to see that every opinion matters, every opinion counts. But at the end of the day, your opinion is what's most important. Your state of being is what's most important. And that is how we move into self-empowerment. It takes self-awareness. And so we have to be aware of ourselves and what we are needing, what we are feeling, so that we can really come to fully know who we are. And the reason I'm smiling is because this is coming in so incredibly strong right now from the universe that it's like it's really, really resonating within my heart center. So we have to remember that, everybody has opinions, everybody's entitled to opinions, but we have to see which one serves us best. Because if we get tied into, opinions of others, or let's say a book, you read a book and the book is on how to become a psychic medium, let's just say that. And so you read that book and you study those principles and philosophies, and it doesn't work for you. And then you get frustrated and you look at yourself and you say, I guess I'm not meant to be a psychic medium, even though, I've had like 5 people tell me I'm supposed to be a psychic medium. It's in my astrological chart. My numerology points to it. I feel in my inner being that I'm supposed to be a psychic medium, but for some reason, every time I read a book, I'm not able to access that information and be a psychic medium. Well, that would be because you're reading how somebody else did it. And maybe that's not the way that you need to do it. And so we have to remember that, books are really great tools, but we can't hold them accountable for our well-being. We have to hold ourselves accountable for our well-being. That's the most important thing here to remember. So I think it plays very much into that whole self-empowerment thing, right? Getting rid of old beliefs, getting rid of the opinions of others, which are beliefs, getting rid of programs that we run, jumping out of paradigms that we find ourselves feeling very comfortable in, like the medical community paradigm, where every little ache or pain is something, because right now these energies are presenting in such a way that everything feels intensified within the physical experience. As these energies were coming in last night, I was in bed and I was meditating, or I don't really do a meditation before I go to bed, but I was doing this tuning in that I do. And as I was doing this tuning in, I started to feel the energy come in. So I stopped tuning in and just got quiet into receiver mode and allowed myself to become a good receiver. And the energies were intense. We had plasma coming in, which was creating all kinds of gastric issues, tummy gurgling, and all kinds of things like that. Not a stomach ache, but like a lot of gurgling and energy moving. And that is what happens when energy moves. When I have sessions with people, sometimes their stomach will start gurgling and they're like, I don't know what's going on, I'm not hungry. It's energy moving. So understand that, know that. And then the other part of that was when that's plasma energy, and when plasma comes through, it's like the roto-rooter, so it's clearing out the distortions that the photonic light pulls to the surface. This photonic light likes order, it likes things in balance, it likes things in harmony, so it likes to remove the chaos and create order. And so that's what it does. But in order to do that, we have to go to sleep. So it makes us foggy, groggy, and sleepy. And then we need to rest because we can't operate our physical being. So we find ourselves laying in bed and feeling exhausted. And then we think that there must be something wrong with us because we're feeling exhausted. But if you tuned in, if you learned how to tune in to your state of being, your inner being, your higher self, whatever you want to call it, and tune in to understand what is going on with you, then you would start to know whether or not this is something more serious that needs medical attention. So what was also coming in last night was gamma energy. So gamma light frequency was coming in as well. And we could feel this feels like electrical stim going through the body. And I could tell you from myself that because I've been doing more artwork, I've been noticing that when I'm, painting or drawing, and let's say I'm holding the instrument, the pen, the paintbrush, whatever it is, a little too hard and I'm not as relaxed, for whatever reason, I start to get numbness in my middle finger. So what I noticed last night was that as I was laying down, the energy, which always comes through the heart center, was coming in through the heart center, and it was running down this arm right into that middle finger. And I could feel that energy surrounding the areas that had the distortion running in it, the block. And, even though I do this work and I'm in this work every day, I could be holding some kind of, imprinting in my hand back from when I was in high school and was an artist, and didn't make it because my portfolio was stolen. And then I would say that I was probably in victimhood back then, not wanting to recreate all my work. And why should I have to do that? They should just accept me, right? Like all that stuff playing out. And so somewhere in my hand is that is that imprint, is that emotional imprint sitting in my hand that may be blocking me from, you know, excelling in my artwork at this time. So, you know, everything shows up for a reason. It creates greater awareness. It makes me more aware that when I'm doing artwork, I need to be more relaxed. I need to be more forgiving. I need to be more accepting. I need to be more loving, right? Isn't that the way it goes? I mean, so that's the work. Then, so we, you know, and I was feeling the gamma coming through, and it was amplifying my field in such a way as it was coming through the heart center, and I could feel the heart go into expansion and that expanded state of being. And then it brought everything right up into my third eye. And then I could feel my third eye. It was like it was going to bust right out of my forehead. And for somebody that is, you know, new and just starting out, this might feel overwhelming. So allow for as much as you can, and then when you can't, ask your guides to slow it down for you. I've taken on as much as I can't take in anymore. Or, you know, please help me integrate these light codes in a way that I can handle so that it doesn't overwhelm my system. And those of you that are struggling with any kind of fatigue, do an internal check-in, do some internal dialoguing within your higher self to see if it's really physical fatigue from something else, or if it is these light frequencies that are coming in. And then, of course, our mind goes to the old medical paradigm that says, oh, fatigue, let me Google in my Rolodex of my mind, and fatigue, okay, fatigue could be, and then we list Epstein-Barr, mono, this, that. It might be some kind of an illness, a disease. It could, so, you know, and then, of course, because these energies are moving so quickly, we could manifest that in our body. We're going to do a really, really good job manifesting things that we don't want in our body. And so manifestation is very heightened right now. So let's talk about that for a quick second. So the energy of manifestation is moving super, super fast. Now, how we align ourselves to the higher timelines to create the manifestations that we desire takes, or requires rather, that we sit in a place of stillness, allow ourselves to be in present moment, in divine neutrality, no expectation for what is going to present or what we are creating, because after all, in my head, I could have something that I think I need in order to be happy, and my universe has a much better idea or thought for me. And so, you know, I might not be aware of what that is because I'm thinking from my human mind, and my human mind is limited in its ability to perceive the greatness that I could call into my reality. Whereas my higher self, my inner being, does not know a limitation because it's connected to my universe, my multiverse, right? So these infinite dimensional potentials in the field of possibilities. And that is all quantum based. So when we are wanting to create something, how are we going to do that? Well, we're not going to do it the old way where we throw it on a vision board and then sit and focus on, look at it with our eyes, intuit it with our mind. We're not going to do that because that never worked, didn't work then. It's not going to work now. If we want something, we're going to have to envision ourselves feeling into that thing that we desire. So if we want a new relationship, we're going to have to feel what that feels like to have that person with us, the one that makes our heart throb and our head spin off our shoulders with excitement, right? What does that feel like? If we are wanting a new car, we have to imagine ourselves sitting in that car, driving that car, and then be open to the possibilities of what's going to show up, whether it's a relationship, a new car, or anything else. We have to allow ourselves to be in that place of being a good receiver, because again, we don't know. We're limited in what we can perceive as our best possibility of what we could call in. Think about it from this perspective. Our mind is based on the ego. So the ego can only perceive what has taken place or what has happened. But if we operate from the higher being or the inner being, the higher self, then we can conceive what is possible, because we're going through a source that is infinite within itself. Ego, mind, construct, limited in its potential, very set in its ways, so it doesn't have an expanded awareness, and it only perceives things that have happened. Okay, that's the ego mind. It perceives what has happened. Whereas tuning into the higher self and tuning into the higher consciousness, the inner being, whatever you want to call it, operates from the quantum field, operates from the field of infinite potential, infinite possibility. So while you're sitting limited in your awareness of what you might be able to obtain or call in as your reality, your higher self, inner being, higher consciousness doesn't have a limitation. It doesn't have a boundary. It doesn't stop, at any point. It is infinite because it works with the quantum field and the field of infinite potential. So this is something that is really important to have an awareness on. We are in heightened states of manifestation. And over the next day or two, I will be making another video to talk about manifestation a little bit deeper. But just know that right now, everything and anything is possible. And the only thing that is making it impossible is the limitation that our mind holds. Okay. So I'm going to leave this here because I don't want to overwhelm you. I don't want these videos to be too long, so that you'll tune in and continue to come back and tap into these energies. As always, there is a frequency that is offered within this video, a transmission, if you will, for you to support you in your ascension process, if you desire to take that in. If not, you're watching the video without accessing any of those frequencies, and that's based on the higher self. So yeah, that's going to be it for today. So know that I love you. These energies are huge. I want you to love yourself as much as I love you. And I want you to stay playful and just stay in awareness of everything that is showing up in your reality. It's always going to look like a mirror to reflect back at you, where either you are not loving yourself enough, or you are needing to look at something from a different perspective. Okay. So I love you. I look forward to connecting again soon. Be well, enjoy whatever it is you're doing, and just know that I offer you so much love, sending out lots and lots of love to you today. All right. Do your best navigating these crazy energies, this big timeline. These next couple of weeks are going to feel very, very heavy energy wise, but you got this. I'm right here with you. We're doing it. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.